Okay, sorry everybody, I had some technical issues. Hopefully you can get onto this stream. I need to just update the links. If you want to give me just a moment, I need to update the links on Facebook and Instagram so that people can get onto this. 1 second, everybody. Okay, 1 second. So for everyone joining, we're gonna work on hip mobility this morning. So you're going to need pillows, 2 pillows, and something that emulates a yoga block. So if like it could be a foam roller or books, like thick books, anything like that. So you're gonna need, yeah, you're gonna need something like that, and um, we will work on external and internal rotation of the hips. So when you are externally rotated, that's sort of when your hips are, you're in like a butterfly or a cross-legged seated position. And then internal rotation is the opposite direction. So your knees are like knocking inwards. So we'll work on mobility there. And we're gonna start actually on our back. So if you wanna get started, we're gonna, you can go ahead and lay down on your back. And I'm not going to play music this morning. I had it playing last night and it wasn't very good, so you couldn't really hear it anyway. Okay, all right, we're all set here. 1 second. Okay, so you're going to get started on your back. And you're going to take 2 pillows, or take whatever 2 pillows that you have. And you're going to lay down on your back, but you're going to take the soles of your feet together and your knees are knocking on open into a butterfly position. And then you're just going to lay down on your back, and then you're going to take whatever pillows or whatever you have that you can place under, that you have 2 of, place underneath, right at the base of your, like the top of your thighs, right underneath, so that they're just supported and that it's not like straining your hips to start. So we're just going to start here on our backs. I want you to press into the back of your head to lift your shoulders up off the ground and tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. So like pinching them together. And then just take your hands at your sides, your arms at your sides with your palms facing up. We're going to start to tune into the breath here. So let's take 1 deep breath together through the nose. And then a cleansing exhale out the mouth. And then just start to take deep breaths through the nose and out the nose. Seeing if you can lengthen the breath. Maybe counting to 4, maybe counting to 5 as you inhale. And then as you exhale, matching the length, counting to 4 or 5. And I want you to think about expanding through the belly, expanding through the ribs, and expanding into the chest when you inhale. So the whole front body is blowing up like a balloon each time that you inhale. So we're filling our belly and our chest and our ribs with space. And then each time you exhale, it falls down, it collapses, and it compresses on the front side of the body. So normally when we breathe, we think about sucking in air, but we're really not sucking in air. We're creating, if we're breathing correctly, we're creating movement and space. in the cavities of the internal organ cavities of the body. So we have two of those cavities, the thoracic and the abdominal, and the thoracic holds all of our digestion, our like more closer to our abdominal organs. And then the, I think that's what it is, the abdominal one, no, I could be mixing it up and I need to go check on that. But the two cavities hold our different organs. One holds the lungs and the heart, and then the other holds our lower abdominal organs. And each time that you breathe, you're actually moving and pushing those cavities around. So you're actually massaging the organs by doing that. So it's sort of creating this fresh blood flow and pumping of oxygen in through the organs. So when you inhale, creating that space and opening up space for blood and oxygen to rush through. And then each time you exhale, you're sort of compressing and pulsing that blood and oxygen through. Let's take one more deep breath together. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. We're going to remove the pillows from underneath us. And then just let your knees hang wide just for a moment. Take a deep breath, inhale through here. Exhale out the nose. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the nose. On your next inhale, draw your knees into your chest. And then just start to roll or draw circles with the knees, like you're massaging the low back. And then reverse the directions of the circle. And then we're going to come into a half happy baby pose. So take your right knee and keep it into your chest, and then extend your left leg straight out in front of you, resting the heel onto the mat. So we're here first, and I want you to really wrap your arm around that shin bone and pull it super tight into your chest, and even towards your armpit. So start to pull it more into your armpit, or towards your armpit, excuse me. And then we're just finding a little bit of back and forth movement, so rocking side to side. Some circles there with the hip if you like. And then I want you to grab the outer edge of your your foot and start to bend the knee so that your knee or your leg is more at a 90-degree angle. So my leg is 90-degree angle here. And then I'm going to work to start to pull that foot in towards my chest, my shoulder, and then at the same time pushing my foot into my hand. So we're creating opposite resistance here. And then especially here now, I'm taking my knee into that right shoulder space. So this is a half happy baby. And I want you to see if you can get the heels as much over that knee as you can. So that 90-degree angle. And then we're rocking side to side here, that half happy baby. And here I actually have my knee sort of resting on my outer elbow. I don't have it on the inside, I have it on the outside, just to sort of create a little bit more of that opposite resistance. Take a few more rounds of breath here. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the nose. And then I want you to straighten the leg, grab that back of the thigh, the hamstring, and just straighten your leg. And then maybe you start waving that side to side as well. Again, we're opening up, we're creating a little bit more ability in that hip space here. And then maybe start to slide your hands further up your leg to pull your leg back even further. Starting off with a little bit of a hamstring stretch. And we're always moving here, right? So I'm not in this sort of practice today. We're going to try to always be fluid with our movements rather than staying in a static pose. And then I'm going to slide my hands up even further on my calves if you can. Peeling my leg back even further if I can. Just slowly opening up the hamstring. And then bend into the knee one more time. Take the outer edge of your hip or your foot, and start to just peel your knee open to the side of your back. So I need to create a little bit more space because I'm hitting the wall, but I'm taking my knee out and open this way. And don't worry so much about the bend in the knee right now. You don't have to worry about it like looking any sort of way. I just want you to open up that hip to the side of the room. We're taking deep breaths in and out through the nose. Breathing, sending our breath into that hip space, that tight open hip space, that space in the hip where we are a little bit uncomfortable, we'll call it that. And continuing to inhale through the nose. And then exhale, release that. And you're here at the moment, so we're at a 90-degree angle with our knee over our hips. And then we're just going to find a twist on our backs. So take that right knee across the left side of your body. And then I have my left hand just resting on my right knee to sort of guide it over there. And check in with your right shoulder here. And I want you to see if you can plant it firmly on the mat. So that both of your shoulders are on the mat, and then you find that twist in the low spine, or in the upper spine, excuse me. Take deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. Big inhale through the nose here. Exhale out. Let's do one more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, returning to center. Let's take both of our knees into our chest again. And starting to make those hip circles, or those circles with the knees to massage the low back. And then release the right heel down to the mat. So extend that right knee or right leg forward. And then pull the left knee into the left chest towards the left armpit. So a little bit out to that side. And then just rocking back and forth here. Again, we're finding that fluid movement in each pose. And then on your next inhale, see if you can grab the outer edge of that left foot with your hand and then bend the knee. And we're finding that half happy baby. So again, my knee is touching my outer right arm, the tricep area here. So we're kind of creating that equal to opposite resistance, both in our foot to our hand and then our elbow to our knee. And then rocking side to side here. And check in with your right leg. Make sure that your right foot is flexed, and that left or that right leg is more or less engaged. We don't want to sort of just relaxed, sloppy leg. We want to really straighten it and engage through that right quad. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then start to straighten the leg. Clasp your hands behind your hamstring and flex the extended foot. And we're swaying side to side here. Deep breaths through the nose and out the nose. Maybe you start to slide that hand up a little bit higher. Maybe right below the knee at this point. And we never want it behind the knee. We always want it like on the muscular part of our leg. Slowly warming up the hamstring. Take one more deep breath. And then maybe you reach up for the calf if you can reach there. Take another deep breath here. And then exhale, bend into the knee. We're grabbing that outer edge of the left foot once again. And then we're opening up our hip to the left side. So now I'm just going to grab my knee here. I'm sort of going to reach underneath my knee and grab the quad here. So I'm sort of like reaching underneath and grabbing here. I'm just opening up that hip towards my armpit, towards my shoulder. And then making maybe a little bit gentle movements here as well. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out the nose. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale back up to center. And you're creating that 90-degree angle with your knee right above your hip. And then cross that left knee over to the right side of the body and find that twist on the other side. And then check in with the left shoulder, make sure that it's planted firmly on the mat. And take deep breaths here in through the nose and out. Inhaling, exhaling out. Inhale through the nose and exhale out the nose. Let's take one more deep breath, the biggest one yet. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, start to return to center. And drawing both of the knees into the chest. Taking those circles with the knees one more time. And then we're going to start to rock and roll up and down the spine. We're not coming all the way up to seated. We are going to meet in boat pose. So boat pose is right here. Level 1, you have your feet onto the mat, and then you're sitting right on your sit bones. So with this, and you can sort of scoot your glute muscles out of the way. But this is level 1 boat. Your palms are on the ground. Your feet are on the ground. Level 2, you take your feet up. Level 3, reach your arms forward. And if you want to go even further than that, you can extend your legs straight. I'm going to stay right here. So we're holding boat. We're warming up a little bit of the core. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, maybe straighten one leg at a time. Inhale and straighten the other leg. Inhale up. Extend the right leg. Inhale up. Extend the left. Inhale. Extend. Exhale. Extend. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One last time. And release. We're crossing our legs. And then we're rolling forward onto tabletop pose. So on tabletop, we are stacking our shoulders directly over our wrists, and our hips are directly over our knees. We're creating a perfectly flat table with our spine. So we have a neutral spine. Our low belly is pulling in towards the base of our spine, and we're pulling our ribs together. Take an inhale breath in tabletop, and exhale. Inhale, drop the belly low. We're going to pull our chest through our shoulders, and then we're going to tip our chin up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, pull the low belly in, round the upper back, tuck the tailbone down towards the heels, and tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale, drop the belly low, reach the chest through the shoulders, look up in space, and then exhale, round and curl. Puff up the upper back, press firmly into the palms. Take the tailbone down towards your heels. Inhale, chest comes through the shoulders, and exhale, round and curl. This is called cat-cow. This is cow, this is cat, and then this is cow. And with each inhale breath, with each breath, you make that next movement. So That's what Vinyasa means. It's breath to movement. Taking a few more of these. Take it with your own breath. Inhaling as you look up. Exhaling as you round and curl. Let's take one more round. And we'll meet in tabletop after your last round. And then we're coming into tabletop. Take your toes together, your knees wide, almost as wide as the mat. Sit your hips back into your heels. Walk your hands forward, find child's pose. Take your forehead down to the mat, or a pillow, or a book, or a foam roller. If you can't, take your forehead all the way down to the mat. But our forehead is resting on something. Take deep breaths in and out through the nose. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the nose. One more breath. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. We're going to sit slightly up. So take your hands, or start to sit up. So pull your hands back towards your heels. Or your knees, excuse me. We're going to come up onto your knees. Tuck your toes under and just stay here for a moment. So this might feel pretty tight right now on your feet, just because it's in the morning, we just woke up, we haven't been walking around a lot, so our feet are not yet warmed up. So just enjoy for a moment, as much as you can enjoy this, because this is pretty miserable. That toe stretch and that foot stretch. Take a deep breath here. And then exhale, just lift the knees a little bit off the ground. And then start to press up into downward facing dog. Maybe you walk the hands out a little bit further. Maybe you scoot the heels back a little bit. And we're in downward facing dog. So in downward dog, I want you to look down at your hands really quickly and make sure that your fingers are spread as wide as possible. Root down into the thumb and the forefinger side of your hand. So press firmly down into that inner palm. Press so firm that you can sort of find a little bit of lightness in the wrists. And then send your hips high up in space. Pull the low belly in. And send your heels down towards the mat. You don't have to touch, that's not the point. But we're creating space in the spine and in the hamstrings. And then maybe you start to pedal it out. So bending one knee at a time, taking one heel to the mat at a time. Warming up the calves. Take one inhale breath here. Find a little bit of stillness. Exhale out. Take another inhale. And then exhale, shift forward into high plank pose. Take an inhale in high plank. Exhale, lower the knees. And then we're sitting back on our heels. This is a modified child's pose. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale out. Inhale, come up into downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, roll forward to high plank. Inhale, drop your knees. Sit back into child's pose. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, take your hips high to the sky, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, shift forward into plank pose. Lower the knees. Inhale, stick your hips back, child's pose on your toes. Inhale, breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up onto your toes. Exhale, shift forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees. Sit your hips back. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. So if you notice, we're kind of creating this rolling movement on our spine. And I'm going to show you sort of how we can advance that sort of movement.
So I'm coming up onto my heels or on my tippy toes, and I'm starting to puff my upper back up, and I'm rolling towards high plank with my back puffed up. And then rather than going to my knees, I'm going to come right down into a chaturanga push-up with my toes still on the ground. I'm going to come into that upward facing dog. And then I'm sort of going to drop my knees here, shift back into that child's pose, and immediately up into downward facing dog. So I like to do these as a nice spine warm up. It is a lot for to do that full one with the push up and the upward facing dog, but I wanted to show you what that could look like as you take your practice even further and as you build the strength. So we're in downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale out and start to walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Take your feet as wide as your hips. So that's about 2 fists. If you make 2 fists like this and place them in between your feet, that's about hips width distance usually. So bend generously into the knees and just let your ribs and your chest hang super heavy over your thighs. Grab opposite elbows and then let your neck and your head hang heavy as so. Maybe you start to sway side to side. Taking deep breaths, feeling the result of your sleep. This is where I always feel a little bit tight, is in my back and my neck after I wake up. And I do a forward fold. It's like, whoa, that feels weird. Take one more deep breath here. And then we're slowly going to start to uncurl all the way back up to standing. So keep your knees bent and just hang, let your arms hang, and we're just going to uncurl one vertebra at a time all the way up to standing. Take the shoulders up into the ears and then roll them down the back. Take your hands to your sides, your arms to your sides with your palms facing forward. Take an inhale breath. And exhale. Let's do that one more time. In through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale, I want you to take your toes together. You have 2 options here. We're going to sit into chair pose, but you have 2 options. You can take your toes together with your heels slightly parted and sit in a chair. Or if you have some knee problems when you do this, I would keep your feet at hips width distance apart. So we're going to sit into chair pose. Take an inhale breath and sink your hips low. So in chair pose, our arms are straight forward, either in a V formation if our shoulders are a little bit tight, or straight out in front of us. Sink your hips down low, like you're sitting in a chair. And then I want you to take the dip out of your spine. So right now I'm sort of I have this dip in my lumbar spine. I'm going to pull my low belly in and draw my ribs together so I have a straight lumbar. And then I want you to look down at your toes and make sure that you can see them. If your knees are covering them, then take your hips farther back and sink down into your heels. So the weight in chair pose is in your heels. So you can actually lift your toes and wiggle them. Take one more inhale breath. And then exhale, forward fold. Bending into the knees, letting the chest hang heavy. On the inhale breath, we're going to lift up about halfway. So we're taking our palms on our shins and extending our spine long and straight, like somebody has a string attached to the crown of your head and they're pulling your head forward. We're finding length in the spine as we inhale halfway up. And then on the exhale, we fold. Inhale breath. And then plant your hands on the mat, bend your knees, step back into plank pose. And then 2 options here with a chaturanga or a vinyasa. We're going to either lower all the way down to our belly, untuck our toes. We're going to inhale into low cobra, so we're just peeling our chest and our shoulders off of the mat, using the strength of our back and not pushing into our palms. So I want you to be able to lift your palms off the ground when you are in cobra. So we're either here or in high plank. We shift our shoulders forward past our wrists so that they're over top our fingertips,
And then we lower halfway down, keeping our elbows pinched to our side ribs. Never let your shoulders dip below your elbows. Untuck the back toes. Find that back bend, upward facing dog. The tops of our feet are planted firmly in the mat. Our knees are lifted off of the mat, and our chest is peeling through our shoulders, and our face is facing straight forward. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So when you're in that low cobra, the way that you enter into downward facing dog is you just come up onto your knees, tuck your back toes, and downward facing dog. So 2 options there with your vinyasas. You could do a mixture of both. You could skip them completely, or you could pick one and stick with that for the whole class. It's totally up to you. This is your practice, and you can do whatever you want here. So I wanted to offer both options. Take an inhale breath, and exhale out. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, and then open up that hip up towards the ceiling. So our knee is sort of facing the side of the rim here, and we're finding that open hip. And then start to make circles. My hip is just popping there with the hip, with the knee, circles with the knee. And then reverse the direction. And then extend the legs straight out. Our hip is still open, and then I want you to close that hip so that your right hip is flush with the left. And then take your foot in between your hands, step it through. We're going to find set up for warrior 1 here. So I'm going to widen my stance a little bit. And then I'm going to drop the back heel, that left heel down, so that my foot is angled at about 45 degrees. And then I'm going to start to rise up. Sorry, I'm a little warm now. I'm going to take this off. For warrior 1. So warrior 1, our knee is right over our ankle, and our back leg is fully engaged, with a lot of that pressure being focused on the outer edge of that foot. Our arms are straight up in front of us. Think about pushing that left hip forward and dropping the right hip down. So we're trying to find as neutral of the pelvis as possible in the hip opener. Arms up to the sky, take an inhale breath. And then exhale, frame your front foot with your hands, step back into plank pose. And again, you can go all the way to your belly or take that full chaturanga push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale out. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. To keep that. And then bend the knee, open up the hip towards the ceiling. Take an inhale. And then exhale, start to make those circles with the knee. And check in with your shoulders. Sometimes when we open up the knee like this, our left shoulder can start to reach up towards the sky. I want you to have both shoulders, both armpits facing the mat. Reverse the directions of the circle. Extend the legs straight out behind you. The hip is still open. And then square off the hip. So close that left hip down so that it's equal with the right. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, step it in between your hands. We're setting up for warrior 1 on the other side. So adjusting your stance as you need to. Drop that right heel down to a 45-degree angle with the foot. And then rise for warrior 1. Inhale here. Exhale out. Make sure that right knee is right, or the left knee is right over the ankle. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, take your palms to the mat, framing the front foot, stepping back into plank pose, taking it all the way to your belly or halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale 3. And then exhale, make your way to the front of your mat. You can walk or you can hop up. Take an inhale breath, come up halfway lift, find that long flat spine. And then exhale, fold.
Inhale, sit into chair pose. Arms come forward, take an inhale breath. And then exhale, rise, straightening the legs, taking your hands to prayer in front of your heart. So that is a sun salutation B. So with modifications. I did the modifications with the opening in the hip when we're in three-legged downward facing dog. But we're gonna do 2 more rounds of those just to warm up, and then we'll get into our standing sequence. So we're taking an inhale breath, exhale out. Inhale, sit into chair pose. Inhale here. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway lift. Find that long, flat spine. And then exhale, plant your hands on the mat. Make your way back to plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. Exhale, bend the knee and open up the hip. Inhale, breath here. Exhale. Inhale, straighten the leg, close the hip, and then exhale, bring it through to place your foot in between your hands. We're setting up for warrior one. Drop that left heel down to a 45-degree angle, rise. Arms come overhead. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale, plant your hands on either side of your foot. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, straighten that left leg, close the hip, and then step it in between your hands. Adjust your stance, drop that right heel down to a 45-degree angle. Inhale, rise for warrior one. You can inhale breath here. Exhale out. Inhale. And then exhale, take your hands to frame your front foot, step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing. Or exhale, downward facing. Take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale through the nose. And out the nose. Inhale 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. And then exhale, make your way towards the front of your mat, any way that you want to get there. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink your hips low. Bring your arms forward. Take an inhale here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up halfway. And then exhale, plant your hands. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Take that heel towards the buttocks. Inhale, breath. Exhale, straighten that back leg. Close the hip. Step it through in between your hands. Drop that back heel. Rise, warrior one. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale 2. And then exhale, plant your hands onto the mat. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, open up the hip on the exhale. Take that heel towards your butt. Inhale here. Extend the leg straight out. Close the hip. And then step it in between your hands. Warrior one. Drop the back heel and rise. Arms overhead. Take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale 2.
And then exhale, frame your front foot with your hands. Step back into plank, lower halfway or all the way, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. Inhale 1. And exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. And as you exhale, walk towards the front of your mat. Your feet meet your hands. Inhale, come up halfway, lift. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink your hips low. And then exhale, rise to standing. Nice work. So that's our warm-up. We're going to move on to a couple standing sequences that we're going to move through a lot of that hip space. So on the inhale breath, we're reaching our arms up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, take your right knee up to the sky. Exhale, this time we're just stepping it through. We're finding a low lunge. So keeping your palms, your fingertips onto the mat in this low lunge. So we're gonna move through this fluid movement between a pyramid pose, which is this, where our front knee is straight, and then a low lunge. So we're just gonna move back and forth with our breath for just a few minutes, for like a minute or so. So on the inhale, straighten the front leg as much as you can, and then exhale, bend it. And take it slow. Inhale, straighten, and then exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. So 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, and then exhale. Keep the knee bent. Now you're gonna walk that right foot out to the outer right edge of the mat. So I'm using I'm like moving my toe, moving my heel, moving my toe, moving my heel. So that both of my hands are on the inside of my right foot. Then here's where that bolster, any sort of something that's emulating a yoga block, comes into play. I'm gonna take my hands onto something that's gonna raise my hip, or basically take the ground up further for me so that I can find a straight spine. So this is runner's lunge or lizard lunge. And then if you're pretty mobile in that hip, if you would like to drop down to your forearms, I recommend it. If you want to lower the knee, you can do that as well. I'm just going to stay right in this lunge. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. And then exhale. So here's a funny transition too. We're coming into pigeon pose. So the same way that we toe heel moved our foot out to the outer edge, we're going to move it into the opposite direction, toe heeling it out to the left side of our mat. And then we're going to drop our knee down. And here you're sort of, I don't want you to have a straight arm or a straight, leg like this. We're going to turn it to about 45 degrees. So you might want to move your leg back further down the mat and then drop that right knee down to meet the right wrist. So this is pigeon pose. We're releasing the back toe. So the back leg is straight, the top of the foot is down. And I just want you to stay up for now. We're not going full into sleeping pigeon. So this is pretty intense pose for the morning. So that's why I want you to stay up. Keep that left or the right foot flexed. Look back at your left extended leg. Make sure the heel is pointing straight up toward the sky and not sinking down inwards or outwards.
not rotating internally or externally. Take one more deep breath here. Exhale out. And then inhale, we're gonna tuck the back toe under, lift that heel off of the ground. And then we're gonna pull our knee into our chest and then just step it back down into that low lunge. And then we're gonna start to walk our hands out to the side of our mat. Drop the back heel down. And then we're gonna sit into the side squat. So you don't have to be sitting fully on your right heel here, but I just want you to feel that opening in the left or the right groin and then the left inner thigh here. Take an inhale breath here and exhale out. And then we're gonna start to, so this, I'm breaking this down really slowly in the beginning so that you understand, so we can flow through it a little bit faster as the flow goes on. So now we're gonna sort of plant our left foot down into the mat, and we're gonna start to shift up and over to the left side and find that side, one. I don't even know what this is. It's called Skandasana in Sanskrit, but I don't even really know what it's called otherwise. So we're just shifting onto the other side. So it's like this sort of movement. So we're on the other side now. Now we're going to start to plant that right foot down, start to shift forward, releasing the back heel, and we're finding a low lunge on the other side. You see what we did? And then you're going to drop your back knee down to the mat. Yes. And then you're going to place your right palm on the mat, and then your left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Low lunge twist here. And then I'm just going to shift my knee back a little bit further. So I was here, I'm just pulling my knee back a little bit further so that my heel is right over my toe mound. And then I'm going to start to bend that knee, the back knee, the right knee. And I'm just going to bend it at first, keeping my foot flexed and trying to take that heel to my butt. And then I start to toe heel the left foot out towards the outer edge of the left side of the mat. And then maybe I can start to reach back towards that heel. And if this is enough, if you're feeling it in your quad and you're like, this is enough for me, stay here. If you feel like you can grab your foot, go for it. So we're finding the quad stretch on the right side. And then I just came up on my fingertips. I like to find a little bit more extension, a little bit raised farther up from the ground so that I can have a straight spine rather than curling over like this. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. And when you grab your foot, if you have your foot, think about that opposite resistance. So pressing into the hand, and then the hand is pressing into the foot. One more deep breath here. And then just exhale, gently release the foot, no slingshots there. Plant your hands on the inside of your left leg. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips. We're stepping back into plank pose, lowering halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it through. We're finding that low lunge again. So this time our left leg is forward, and we're going to find those pyramid inhales, low lunge exhales. Inhale, straighten the front leg. And then exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten. And then exhale, bend the knee. Inhale. Exhale.
Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. And then exhale, bend into that knee. We're taking that runner's lunge or that lizard lunge. So start to toe heel walk the left foot to the outside edge, left side of your mat. Take the palms of your hands on the inside of your left hand. And then if you want to use something to raise yourself up so that you have a longer spine, flat spine, place your palms on that. You want to drop the back knee. If you want to come to your forearms, that is totally up to you. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. And then exhale, remove those things out of the way. And then we're going to start to toe heel our foot into the opposite direction. So towards the right side of your mat, we're setting up for lizard lunge. Take your foot out, or take your foot closer to your hip space here, and then drop the left knee down to your left wrist. Drop the right knee down, untuck the back right toes, keep the left foot flexed, and we're finding pigeon. So we're raised up in pigeon here. We're not going all the way down. Take a deep breath here, inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Check your back heel, make sure it's facing directly up to the ceiling and not externally or internally rotating. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. And then exhale, plant your hands back on the mat, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and then take your knee into your chest, and then step it in between your hands. Now we're finding that side lunge, that half side lunge on the other side. So walk your hands out, turn the right toes up to the ceiling, and sit into that lunge position. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, start to walk your hands over to the front of your mat. We're finding that lunge on the other side. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, start to turn forward. We're finding low lunge on the other side, facing the front of your mat. Drop the back knee. Start to toe heel your right foot out to the right side of your mat. Place the left palm on the mat and reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Maybe you start to shift that knee a little bit further back. Start to bend that left knee, taking your heel towards your glute. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, start to reach your right arm behind you. I recommend taking one of those bolsters and placing your hand on it just to have a little bit more space. Taking your right arm back. If you can grab the foot, go for it. If not, just keep that heel, that foot flex moving towards your heel or your butt. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Opposite resistance with that foot and the hand. Inhale 3. Exhale out. Maybe you tip that right knee outward towards the outer edge of your mat. Inhale. Exhale out. One more breath here. Inhale. And then exhale. Release the foot gently if you have it. Remove whatever you have out of the way. Lift the back knee, tuck the back toe. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Woo, how's that one? Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We are coming pretty close on time. So we're going to do that sequence one more time. And then we'll start to cool down. I had a lot more planned, but time escaped me. So on the inhale breath, we reach our right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through, a little lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg, pyramid. And exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend the knee. Start to toe heel your foot out towards the right side of your mat. Right foot to the right side. We're finding that runner's or lizard lunge. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale breath, last one. Exhale, walk your foot towards the left side of your mat, toe heeling it back and forth, taking it a little bit closer to that, back towards the back of your mat. Drop the right knee down. We're finding that pigeon pose. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Take deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale out. Inhale 3. And exhale out. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Take your knee into your chest and then place it in between your palms. We're turning to the side of the mat. You're finding that half lunge. Take an inhale breath here. And then exhale, walk over to the back of your mat. Inhale breath here. And then exhale, we're turning to face the front of our mat. We're finding that low lunge. Start to toe heel your foot out towards the outer edge of your the left side of your mat. Drop the back knee. Take an inhale breath. Place the right palm onto the mat. Reach the left arm up to the ceiling. Inhale breath. And then exhale, bend the back knee. Inhale here. Exhale, start to reach for that back foot. If you can grab it, go for it. Take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. And then exhale, release the back foot. Take your palms on the inside of your left foot. Lift the knee off of the ground. Step back into plank pose. Move through Vinyasa. Lower halfway all the way. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach the left leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it through, low lunge. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Toe heel the foot out to the outer edge of the left side of your mat. And then we're finding that runner's or lizard lunge. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale 3. And then as you exhale, start to toe heel the foot across the mat to the right side and backwards a little bit. Drop that right knee down, or the left knee down, excuse me. Drop the right knee down, and then release the back foot. Finding pigeon, keeping upright, take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale, tuck the right toes under, lift the back knee up, take the left knee into the chest, and then place it in between your palms. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, start to walk your hands out to the side of your mat. Find that side lunge here, releasing the right heel, toes up to the ceiling. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, walk to the front of your mat. Find that side lunge on the other side. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, start to turn forward into that low lunge. Toe heel your foot, your right foot, out to the outer edge of the right side of your mat. Drop the left knee down to the mat. Keep those back toes tucked. Plant the left palm onto the mat right underneath your left shoulder. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale, bend that left knee. Take the heel towards the glute. Exhale. Inhale, start to reach that right arm behind you. If you can grab the foot, go for it. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale out. Inhale 3. Exhale, release gently the back foot. Place the right palm on the inside of your right leg. Untuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway or all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale out. Inhale 3. And then exhale. Lower the knees so that you're in tabletop pose. And then just take the knees and the feet together so they're like lined up with one another. Sit back on your heels. And then take your hands so that the tops of your hands are resting next to your feet. And then just drop your forehead down. And then let your shoulders just relax down to the mat too. Couple deep breaths here, in through the nose and out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale through the nose and exhale out. Inhale through the nose and exhale. Inhale, plant your hands on the mat and press yourself up to seated. So we're sitting on our knees. You might need a pillow, maybe in between. Let me see how we're gonna do this. Okay, so you might need a pillow to set up underneath your glutes like this. But what we're gonna do, we've been doing a lot of external rotation of the hips. So external rotation is this way. Internal rotation is this way. We've been doing a lot of this. So what we want to counterbalance it with some internal rotation, excuse me. So when we're sitting on our knees like this, I want you to take, and if you are having knee problems, just skip this completely and come onto your belly and just rest on your belly for a moment. So we're going to take our feet out wider. So it's basically the opposite of child's pose, where we take our knees wide and our toes together. We're going to keep our knees together and our feet are just a little bit wider. And then we're going to sit our butt in between our heels. For me, I do need a block because my butt doesn't come all the way down and I don't want to hurt my knee. So I'm just going to sit on the block, but I'm going to take my feet out as wide as I can. And actually, I think everybody should put a pillow or something underneath your butt. So we're just finding a little bit of external rotation here. And then take the clasp of your hands. So clasp your hands like you're holding your hand. And then flip your hands over and press. So I'm like, the palms of my hands are facing the front of my mat. Take an inhale breath here. And then start to reach your arms forward. Up towards the sky. And then oftentimes when we do this, our ribs want to sort of pull out like this. And when you pull your belly in and draw your ribs together, find that long spine. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Last breath, inhale. And then exhale, release your hands. We're going to come off of whatever you're sitting on. And then we're going to come onto our butts. So just just find your way to your, seated on your butt. And then you're going to place the soles of your feet about hips width distance apart so that at a distance that your knees or your legs are at a 90-degree angle. So my knees are right about there, is 90 degrees. And then you're going to take your hands and you're going to place your palms facing down, your fingertips facing towards the front of your mat, down onto the mat. On the inhale breath, we're going to lift our hips off of the ground and find reverse tabletop. And then drop your head back only so that your chin is in line with your neck. We don't want it back all the way like this. We just want a straight neck. And then using the strength of your glutes and your quads, pressing into the feet, lift your hips up a little bit higher. Take an inhale breath. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale, lift a little bit higher through the nose. Exhale. Last breath here. Inhale. And then exhale, slowly start to lower those hips back down to seated. And then we're coming all the way down onto our back. Drawing the knees into the chest. Take an inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, take your arms out wide like a T, or maybe like goalposting, cactus arms, if you don't have enough room. And then drop your knees to the left, all the way down. Supine twist, making sure that that right shoulder is planted firmly on the mat. Take an inhale breath. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. 2 more breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Last breath. Let's make this your deepest one yet. Inhale through the nose. Suck in a little bit more air. A little bit more. And then exhale out. Inhale, take your knees back to the center of your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and then rock side to side a little bit. Settling the spine back into place. And then take your arms out wide like a T again, or like cactus. And then we're going to drop our knees over to the right, all the way down. Make sure that left shoulder is still firmly planted on the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the nose. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale here. Exhale out the nose. Inhale, breath, 2 more. Exhale. 1 last inhale, make this your biggest one. Second, a little bit more. A little bit more. And then exhale out. Inhale, take your knees back into your chest. Giving yourself a squeeze, rocking the knees side to side. Take a brief moment here. Find a little bit of stillness. And come back to the breath. And then we're going to extend our legs straight out in front of us. We're finding our final resting pose. So our legs are hanging wide open. So our the inner soles of our feet are sort of coming up to the ceiling, and the outer edges of our feet are sort of sinking down to the floor. And then take your tailbone and sort of tuck it underneath you so that your low back is closer to the ground. And then using the back of your head, press into the back of your head to lift your shoulder blades off of the mat, and then tuck them underneath so that they're closer together. And then take your arms out wide to the side with your palms facing up. And you want a slight tuck to the chin, but not super intense so that you counteract the natural curve of the cervical spine. You just want a neutral spine. And then close your eyes here. Just let your breath just soften. Let it just go completely natural breathing here. And then take a quick scan of the body. Starting with the head. Is there anywhere in the crown of your head that's tightened? That's sort of tensed up? Is it your brow? Release that crease in the brow. Are your eyes squeezed tight shut? If they are, just let them flutter closed very softly. Is your jaw clenched? Make sure that you relax the jaw. Let's have a slight part of the lips and remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Let your shoulders drop even deeper into the mat. Release any tension that you're holding onto there. And then the chest and the back and the belly, let that relax. Let your hips, let gravity push your hips down into the mat. Noticing the difference in the beginning of class with the mobility of those versus right now. Relax the quads and the hamstrings into the mat. Release any tension that you're feeling in the knees and the shins. And then release anything that you're holding onto in the ankles and the feet. Is there anything else that you're holding onto here that you can let go of? And this is your final resting pose, Shavasana. I recommend that you stay here as long as you want. Maybe 5 minutes. Or if you have to get started with work, you get a little bit shorter, but I do encourage you to stay here as long as you need. I'm going to end the video, but please stay in this posture for as long as you want.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, please stay in Shavasana as long as you want. Bye, guys.